Good morning. It's August the 6th and I'm canning chicken this morning for the Every Bit Counts challenge. And again today I'm going to be canning on the kitchen table. So I've got my little setup here. I've got my computer. I'm listening to Celebrating Appalachia while I'm working. So let's get busy. I've got a lot to do. Okay, all my chicken is deboned, de-skinned, and in the jars. I've got a couple of thighs left that I'll use for making some meal prep dinners for the next few days. But I've got to get the lids and rings on and get these in the canner. Okay, getting the last of the lids on. Finger tight, and then they go right into tabletop canner. These are raw pack and cold canner, cold jars, cool meat, and then I'm going to put the lid on. Lock it down. And then I need to plug it in and we're ready to get started. Okay, the canner is plugged in, so I'm going to use the pressure can setting. I'm setting it for 90 minutes, which is process time for raw pack chicken in quarts. And then I push the button. It tells me to insert jars, which I've already done. I check to make sure that the regulator is not on the top. And it is not, so we're ready to get started. So from this point, with the Presto Digital canner, the only thing that I'm going to have to do from this point is push the button one more time, and that'll be when it goes from fill the jars to the heating. And then I will need to put the regulator on when the canner comes up to steam and does its countdown, and it will give me a beep and tell me to put the regulator on, and I will do that. And other than that, that is all it takes to pressure can with the Presto Digital pressure canner. And that's one of the reasons that I love it, because since I became a widow, I have had some trouble with my brain. They call it grief brain, but I'm very easily distracted and I can forget about things. And it has gotten a lot better since my husband passed away and I no longer have the stress of caregiving, but I am still in recovery, so this is the best method that works for me for right now. So there you go. These are some of the potatoes that I canned the day before yesterday, and so I'm going to get these washed up and put away. The canner just beeped at me. You can see it says fill jars. So because I've already filled the jars, all I need to do is hit the next button, just here. And now it's switched over to heat. And then the next time it prompts me will be when I need to put on the regulator so it can start pressure canning. Okay, it's prompting me to put the regulator on. I have the regulator here. You always put it straight up like this and it goes right here. Okay, regulator is on, so I'm going to push the button. That I've done my job, and now it changes over to the minutes of pressure that it needs. It will build up to pressure, and then as soon as this seals, it will do a countdown inside and detect the internal pressure, and when it gets to the correct pounds of pressure, it will beep that it has begun its canning. The canner just told me that it's done. So what I normally do is wait about 5 minutes because look, that hasn't dropped. And that needs to drop before I try and open the canner. There's still pressure there that's holding that up. So I'll be waiting until I hear that drop, and then after I do, I'm going to unlock it and take the regulator off, and then I will just leave it for about 5 to 10 minutes and let it begin to cool. And then after that time, I'll adjust the lid so that it's locked right now. I'll move it to the remove mark over here. And then I'll wait another 5 minutes. And this keeps your jars from siphoning, especially if you're in a situation like I am, where there's a ceiling fan in the kitchen. And so the jar temperature is going to drop rather quickly, and that makes the jars siphon. So the more slowly they come back to room temperature, the less likely you are to have any siphoning going on. Now, I didn't show you earlier, but I have been processing my nectarines. Did you hear that? It just dropped. You heard that little click. So I've been processing nectarines, and the reason that I have been processing them is to make nectarine honey. And I do have it boiling over here on the stove. So this is just whatever amount of nectarine juice that you have. So I cooked down the peels and the pits from the nectarines that I have been canning today, which I just took out of the water bath a few minutes ago. And I cooked down all of the peels and pits with a little bit of water until I had 7 cups of nectarine puree, basically. It's the juice and a little bit of the pulp that came through the strainer. And so I put that back into my, you're going to hear jars popping through this entire thing probably. I put the pulp back in, and then I added whatever half the amount of cups of pulp and juice you have, you add half the amount of sugar. So I had 7 cups, so I did 3.5 cups of sugar. And I'm just cooking this down until it has the consistency of honey. And then I'm going to put that in hot jars with hot lids, and I will process that in my hot water bath canner, which is beside me here, for 5 minutes. And then you have like a nectarine syrup. You can do the same thing with peaches and other stone fruits. It's very good. It's been 5 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and unlock the lid. I'm going to take the pressure regulator off. And I'm going to move the lid to the remove position. And now I'm just going to leave it here for about 5 minutes and let that slowly begin to cool down. If you put your lid back on your canning pot, your house will stay a little bit cooler. right, chicken is done, and before 1 o'clock, so that's a good canning day. The water bath canner is going for its last round. I've got 3 pints of the Nectarine Honey, and then a half pint that'll have to go in the refrigerator because it's too much headspace. All right, that's my Every Bit Counts challenge done for today, and I will see you tomorrow.